Hi everyone, it's Stacy, your garden coach from Seattle Seedling. I'm here to tell you today that I do not believe in the concept of having a brown thumb or a green thumb. I am not growing what I'm growing because I have a green thumb. I am successful in my garden because I think I have a couple of fundamental elements of successful gardening in place. And I would like to share those with you today in hopes that you will also have lots of success in your garden and that your gardening failures can be turned into opportunities for learning. The first gardening fundamental that needs to be in place is vision. It helps to be creative and imaginative and just be able to be inspired and have this imagination of what your space could be like. There's inspiration all around us from other people's yards, from magazines, from blogs. But to be collecting those images and being able to imagine that that space can happen for you. It gives you direction and inspiration to get those chores done. 2, you need to have some science. The bottom line is you have to know the basics of how a plant grows in order to know what it needs to survive in the garden. But this can come over time. You don't have to have a comprehensive knowledge of everything about botany and biology in order to be successful in the garden. You can build that knowledge over time. 3, you need to have experience. But that comes every time you plant a seed, every time you play in the garden, you're learning something new. If you tune into what you're doing and pay attention to what happened or what went wrong, that's another bit of experience that you're putting into your pocket and that will help you next season. And even the most experienced gardener really relies on that experience and that trial and error. And really we learn from each other. We're learning from each other's failures and sharing with each other. What I wanted to talk to you about today is when that vision that you have in your head doesn't quite turn out as planned. And rather than getting overwhelmed or feeling like a failure or that you have a brown thumb and you're not cut out for this, I want you to turn that around and consider it in a different way. What I'd like you to do when you come across a bed of plants that are not looking the way you thought they should or something's not quite working, I want you to stop and kind of assess the situation. Brainstorm all the different possibilities, the different variables that could be causing that problem. Could it be the light or the water? Maybe it's a pest. Does it look like my chickens have gotten in here? Brainstorm all of those different things. Then once you kind of have that crazy list, and your head will probably naturally go there, the problem is when people get overwhelmed in that headspace of, oh, it's all of these things, you feel like you need to fix this all at once, when are you going to have time for that? And then you kind of shut down. What I want you to do instead is to take action on one of those. It helps before to kind of narrow down that list if you can with some of that science base you have, but if anything, choose one of those variables and take action on it. Choose one. When I'm teaching science to my 5th graders and we're doing a science experiment, we talk about how there's lots of different variables in an experiment and things you can change to have an effect on something. But if you change too many things at once, you won't know what caused that change or made a difference. So I teach them to change one thing at a time and to watch and observe and pay attention to what happened. So I'm asking you to do that, to brainstorm, choose one variable, take action on that, and wait and see what happens. An example I have for that is my giving garden. I planted these brand new beds. I planted lettuce and spinach and radishes in this new soil, and everything was leggy and it just didn't happen the way I wanted to, and I had grand visions of what this was going to be like, and it just didn't work out that way. So instead of getting overwhelmed by all the things it could be, it's by a maple leaf tree, it doesn't have very much light, it's new soil, not enough nutrients, I want to build that soil up. It didn't have a cloche over it, maybe it could have been the weather. Instead of getting overwhelmed by that, I decided to take action on one thing. I chose the maple leaf tree, decided to cut out some limbs, thin it out a bit to add some more light to the beds. I re-sowed everything, and now I'm waiting to see if that will have an effect. So my call of action to you is to be deliberate, take action on one thing at a time, and pay attention and observe what happens. Be a scientist in your garden, make observations, and take every experience in the garden as a learning experience and an opportunity to grow. You can be a successful gardener. You probably already are and are interested in this and doing the work. If you're following my blog, you're probably an interested gardener or foodie too. So hopefully this advice helps you along the way. I know you can do this. There's no such thing in a brown thumb. We just need a little vision, a little science, and a little experience. So that's it for today. I hope you'll come check out my blog at seattleseedling.com and subscribe to get updates of all of the things that I'm doing in the garden and in the kitchen on a weekly basis. Sign up for my newsletter where I'll send you monthly updates of timely recipes and seasonal things that are happening in the garden and helpful tips for you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel to get all of these videos. And tune in next Monday for another video with some tips that will hopefully help your garden grow. Until next time, bye.